We will go. I'll be right back. All right. Well, I think we're about live on Facebook. We would like to welcome everybody that is tuning in, either live now or live as you get back from work, straight from Texas, this good old town, good old state, I should say, of Texas. This is Health and Wealth Wednesday. We're calling this actually 911 Health Wealth. That's our new YouTube channel. And those that are viewing want to thank you for taking time out. This is focused today on your health. And I'm a certified financial planner, been doing financial planning now for over 35 years. And what I found in the last 2 years is if you don't have your number one asset looked at, which is your health, you have absolutely nothing. I've had the opportunity of working with millionaires. I've actually met a billionaire in Florida. And if you don't have your health, you have absolutely nothing. So we're focusing today on health. I have a special guest out of Florida, Laura Balzer. Say hello, Laura.
Hello, everybody. Excited to be here.
We are excited to have you on. This is a gal that has 5 decades of experience in the health industry, and I'm going to bring to you her wealth of knowledge, and we're excited. Her story is just amazing. It's going to encourage those of you that are out there that have health concerns, not just women, although we're going to focus in on her story, which focuses towards women. And what I refer to from a compliance standpoint of fast growing cells focused in on the breast region. And she's going to share her story. So Laura, if you'd share a little bit about your family first, your health background, and then your health challenges. And,
yeah, no, absolutely. Happy to do it. I love talking about all this. So you guys, my name is Laura Balzer. I am originally from Virginia, but now I reside in Sarasota, Florida. I have been married for 41 years. I can't even believe I said that out loud. I have 3 children. I have 2 of them are married, and we have 3 grandchildren. They're all boys. 5, 3, and 1.5. And we've got the older ones skiing already. So we're really stoked up about that. It's family is very important to us. And
awesome.
It's fun to, come in as grandparents this time and spoil them up and then leave them for their parents to bring them back down to earth. But like Rich was saying, I have been in the wellness arena for about 5 decades now, and it's had very many different. First, just as a young mom, really teaching my kids about eating well and being organic as much as we could. It wasn't a big offering back then, so it was a challenge. And then I got into really fitness, and it was more about being home with my kids and doing something on the side, basically for my own sanity, right? But I found that I had an incredible passion for the fitness arena. And so in the beginning, I just became a personal trainer at a gym. It was very, simple, easy, small certification. But then I was ready to take it to another level. So I became a conditioning coach and a personal trainer for athletes, which beefed up my certifications. And I loved it because I had great contrast between the athlete and then the everyday person who, for different reasons, wanted to take care of themselves, look their best, and whether it was performing in athletics or if it was performing at the best in their life. So it really gave me the ability to learn people and learn how different it is to train people and talk to them about nutrition, because it's not one size fits all. But like Rich was saying, life throws us some curveballs. And even though I was somebody who lived in the gym for about 8 hours a day and ate really well, in 2017, I found out that I had breast cancer, stage 3. And certainly wasn't anything I thought I would ever hear, but I did. And because of my travels in the arena that I did, when I moved to Sarasota, I had met some incredible wellness doctors that I had done work with for some of my clients as well as myself, balancing hormones, doing different things, right? And the minute I found out, I will share with you that I left allopathic medicine at the door, respectfully. I wanted no part of Western medicine.
Hey,
Um,
Laura, could you just repeat that one more time? Because I think I've done a lot of interviews now, and I was on the prescription treadmill. I trusted um, the medical system here in the United States, and I had actually two different doctors in two different states, and not one helped me get off of anxiety medication that had really, really bad side effects. In fact, I have a 50% increase for dementia had I not been doing some of the proactive health care that you and I will be talking about today.
yeah,
But just repeat that because a lot of people don't believe they have another option, or they've done that option and it's come back, and now what do I do? In fact, I just saw someone on Facebook the other day. She's scared to death. So, yeah, just
right.
repeat that if you would. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it came through my travels and my knowledge of things. But as I was saying, when I found out, I like to say I left the white coats at the door. And like Rich was saying, I respectfully say this because I believe everybody makes the best choice they can at that moment with the information they have. I think, in my opinion, Western medicine has an insatiable way of conducting business out of fear, instilling fear in people. And you don't have to jump on anything. They're telling you to jump on it. But I want you to know that there's always time to view other avenues. And, Rich, this is why I like talking about this because I want people to understand you have options. You do.
And that's a key point. And I'm a financial advisor, and I spend 2/3 of my time there, so I'm a numbers guy. That industry that you left the white coats behind is a $1 trillion industry, folks.
Yep.
1 trillion. So to inspire fear and no other alternatives is their number one goal. So
Yep.
continue. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, no, no. The word cancer was structured to instill that fear. Well, I mean, you can ask yourself when you hear it, where's your brain go to? The first, right? So with that said, I will share this with you. When I found out, um, I think I used the word cancer one time in the first 30 minutes that I found out because with this wellness team that did verify that that's exactly what was going on, they did that through microscopy or live blood analysis, to be layman. I was a hot mess. I mean, the way they described me is I had trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. I think they said trillions 20 times. A World War III is going on in my body.
Wow.
I had no immune system. Had been totally compromised. But you know what the first thing out of his mouth was? We can fix it. What person has ever gone to an oncologist and they have said to them, we can fix it? Not one. You won't find it. You won't find it.
Wow.
So we devised a plan, and the plan was a very strict diet. It was a great diet, but this is where a lot of education came in for me. I thought I knew a lot. I didn't know as much as I thought I did. So there were a lot of things that I could not eat through this process, and some things I still stay away from now, almost 7 years later. Many things that we're consuming on a daily basis, because we love them, can create bacteria in the body, like shellfish, things that eat at the bottom of the sea. I could not eat shellfish. I couldn't have clams and oysters and lobster or snails. And you guys, I might freak you out here, but God loved my father. He had us slurping oysters off a half shell when we were 2. Like, we ate very well, but over long periods of time and other influences, those things can create problems. I couldn't have mushrooms. Excuse me, mushrooms are fungus. Cancer is tied to fungus, right? But there were many things that I could eat. I do believe in eating meat. I did eat meat. I think there's a lot of minerals and vitamins that are amino acids that we get from meats that are essential to day-to-day living, but definitely with me going on my healing journey. So not to get into it too deep, but grass-fed and finished beef, absolutely zero corn or grain. You cannot consume that. So remember, whatever they eat, you're eating. Okay. Chicken, I ate a lot of chicken too, but it was pasture raised chicken, not cage free, not all the marketing terms that you hear. When you see cage free on the package, it does not mean they are strutting around outside. It means the door on the coop is open. That gives them the availability to put that on their packaging. But you want pasture raised. You want those birds eating snakes, worms, grass, and bugs, right? That's it. So then that goes into the eggs as well, pasture raised eggs. You got to make sure they're not feeding the bird grain and corn, right? Organic doesn't get it. Organic is great, but if they're pasture raised, then they're organic, as long as they're not eating grass that's sprayed with something, right? So that was very, very to the point. All organic, vegetables. But here's the thing, you guys, and this was a decision I made on my own. Sugar is like gasoline when you have cancer. Any type of sugar. Okay. Now, did my doctor say that I could have like low glycemic fruits on occasion? Of course. Could I have had coconut water? Absolutely. However, I did not have any sugar. I wouldn't even eat a carrot because it has sugar in it. I had a job to do. And I remember my husband and I having that conversation when I decided to go down this path, which the other path was never even an option. This is just the way I was going. But I remember asking him, are you okay with this? I'm not sure I would have said had he said no.
Yeah,
Right.
I was going to ask you that as far as your husband and your children,
Mhm.
what did they think that you weren't going to traditional chemo radiation? Did they think you were nuts? Did they support you? Did you keep it quiet from family members that would be
Oh, great
negative?
question,
Yeah,
Rich.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that question. You know, I told a select few, my husband, my children, and a few friends, because literally we almost spent every waking moment together. And so I knew that they would see the change in my eating. Why aren't you having a glass of wine? Da, 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 da. Y'all know how that goes. Um, but when I had the conversation with my husband, I said, are you okay with this? And he said, I'm way okay with this. However, you have a job to do. You got to get it done. And I never questioned the fact whether I could or whether I couldn't. That was never in my brain. I never said, why me? I knew exactly why I got sick. It was called the crash of 2009 and 4 years of unmitigated stress levels that I have never experienced in my life before, combined with outside influences. That's exactly why I got sick. It was a perfect storm. It doesn't show up immediately. Even though I moved down to Florida and I started living my best life, I did not wake up. I didn't go to bed on Tuesday healthy and wake up Wednesday and have this challenge.
Yeah,
Right?
folks, I just interrupt you, Laura. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking to a person that is a trainer. Now,
Mhm.
no one knows this, but I was a Division I walk-on for football. I was a trainer during my college years, and I got certified as a group fitness instructor later in years. And I chose rather than teaching group fitness, I personally trained my son who walked on University of Montana for football, and I coached my kids in track. They both did hurdles. So you're a top health conscious
Yeah.
person. You get this horrific news and you're fighting fear from setting in. You're isolating yourself from people that would give you any negativity as
Yep.
to the decision, the course of action that you were determined to take. And wow.
Well, you know
So
what, Rich? I didn't even tell my mom. And what's the first thing women do? They call their mom.
Yes.
My mom is very white, or was, she's not with us anymore, but she's very white coat oriented. And I knew she would be in my ear relentlessly. And the biggest part of all of this, you guys, outside of the nutrition and the IV vitamin therapy and the supplementation that I had, is your what is between your ears. That's where the true healing comes from. So I always was up here and I had to surround myself with either silence or the people that I knew that understood how that worked. Right? Like I called my mom in 6 months. You guys, I healed myself in 6 months. Right? I call her up and now tell her, hey, listen, just hang tight. Let me tell you the whole thing. I'm good. Whatever the conversation existed of. Y'all know she called me every day for the next 10 days. Yeah, I think you need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. Are you sure? Should you go get tests run? La, 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 la. And I go, stop. This is why I didn't tell you. We're done with this conversation. I love you, but we're done. And it's that type of within you that you have to have. It is not about anybody else but you, in my opinion. Yes, my kids were shocked. That's the last thing they thought would come out of my mouth, right? But they knew me well enough that I only hope that they thought at that moment that she's got this. My oldest did ask me, if this doesn't work, right? Right. I got that question one time. And I answered it with as clear and concise that I could for him. But, Rich, I'll tell you something. And I know we're going to go jumping back and forth here because of questions, but I want y'all to know that when I finished, when I was totally healed, it was the most incredible experience of my life outside of having my children, right? Birth is an experience all of its own, right? But my family and the ones that were around me who knew, they did not, and I say all of this respectfully, so I don't want to offend anybody. They did not see somebody who walked around in fear all day. They did not see somebody hugging the porcelain god. They did not see somebody blowing up from pharmaceuticals. They didn't see somebody losing their hair or going bald. And in themselves, they didn't live in fear. They did not have the fear because they saw the strength. They saw decision. They saw discipline. And I really feel that I gave them a gift. And they learned a whole lot about life, the power of healing within our own bodies, and that there is no reason on this earth for them to ever worry about that word. Because I don't care if you're stage 4 or you're stage 0. Rich, doctors are literally taking women's breasts when they're stage 0. They, in my opinion, should be shot. 0? And I was a 3? Please, how insulting that is to an individual person. We're getting a lot of background here. Somebody's talking. Okay. So, you guys, I would just love to answer your questions because I know you have them. Rich?
Yeah, we're gonna address questions once we go off live with those that are on Zoom. So hold your questions; those are on Zoom till the very end. But yeah, I'm just gonna. First of all, so 6 months, you get a clean scan, no cancer.
Yep.
And at what point did you believe it? I mean, did you go back every 6 months immediately? So
Immediately.
you're like, wow. What did your husband, what did your kids say? What did your mom say?
They were elated, right? They were elated. And it was a new thing. It was that, who does that? Not that I'm anybody special, but the question always is, who does that?
That is as a college football, that's ballsy. That's a locker room for you. You have big ovaries. That's all I got to say because it's non-traditional.
Yeah.
And you've got to, and I'm not going to go into detail. I've only told Jeff this, but I got some really, really bad blood news. I do comprehensive blood work every year. And what results came back would scare anybody. So I know what debilitating fear is. And I got this news. I'm like, what and how? And the lab was wrong. A very big blood lab. I got a second and third opinion that said it was false positives. But it scared me to death for 2 weeks. So I can relate on a small scale, Laura, what you're
Yeah.
talking about. So those that are viewing, there's someone viewing that's scared to death. You know, I know you've talked to a person I referred you to in Indiana. She's going to be watching this later. Got a double mastectomy. You know, fear sets in, but she's like you. I'm not going to go down the traditional path of medicine.
Yeah.
So, what an
Right.
encouragement for sharing that. I appreciate you sharing that, Laura. I'm going to switch gears because we're going to talk a little bit about proactive health care
Yeah.
and youth renewal, aka age reversal.
Right.
And you're old, much you're no, I won't say much older, but you're older than you look.
I'm
And
62.
62, folks, 62.
Yeah.
And how many years have you been working on age reversal? Because I've been doing it for 2 years. You're introduced to these patches that Jeff Pattison introduced me to. Their clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona uses. I know Dr. Pattison's on this call as well. Talk a little bit about how you're introduced to these and why you use them.
Well, because of me being in the industry, every once in a while I get invited to listen to people speak. And I was invited to go hear David Schmidt speak. For me, it was about going to another wellness seminar to learn, to hear what's out there, to continue to educate myself. And I was introduced to them through him at this event. And I can honestly tell you, Rich, that when I heard him speaking of the different technology that he holds, excuse me, I was like, how do I get that on my body? Because I knew immediately that this was a tool that I could add to my already toolbox of things that I do to keep my health on point. And it would be able to support me in a way that just nutrition could not. And so it will be for me, it's about 3.5 years now, a little over 3.5, 4 years in May. 4 years in May, I'd be using this technology.
So just to bring people up to speed, so we're talking about it's a little look about the size of a quarter. It's a cellular regeneration patch, non-transdermal for those aren't familiar with this technology, meaning a nicotine patch is transdermal. These are non-transdermal, so nothing from the patch goes into your body at any time. But with that said, there's no contraindications. It won't interfere with any medications you're on or taking. And then the question is, and I'm going to leave that up to you, Laura, how the heck do these work if nothing from the patch goes into your body? Would you
You know
like to
what?
explain that?
No, I do. I love that. And that was one of the things that I loved the most. Well, one thing I loved the most because I was taking so many supplementation for so long. I was just thankful to find something that I was not having to put in my mouth to swallow. Like, because that was a lot. Um, so how does it work? I love sharing how this thing works. So when Rich held up that patch, and Rich, maybe you should hold it up again so your guests that maybe view it today or down the road can see the center of it again.
Mm-hmm.
But in the middle of that patch is a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, water, sugar crystals, and oxygen. Now, these are molecules. And when these molecules come together, they form a lattice structure, a very tight weave. This weave becomes reflective. So I just think of a mirror, right? Just think of a mirror. So when you put the patch on your skin, the warmth or the light that you're all emitting, like if you touch your chest right now or your neck or whatever is exposed, you can feel the warmth coming off your body. You can't see that, but it permeates off your body 2 to 4 inches. Okay. But that light that I'm emitting hits the center of that patch and bounces off that mirror. It's a reflection, if you will. but it sends a very specific wavelength of light back towards the skin. Now, analogy only, much like the sun does when the sun hits your skin. What does it do? Sun hits your skin, tells your body to make vitamin D. The sun is not giving you vitamin D. It's instructing your body to make its own. This technology works the exact same way. When that frequency of light comes back, hits that skin, stimulates your skin with light, it tells your body to elevate a peptide called GHKCU, or GHK copper peptide. And Rich, I encourage all your guests who see this today, see it a week from now, 6 months from now, go Google GHKCU, go to PubMed, and see all the incredible healing benefits that this peptide has. This
Yeah,
peptide is known as the fountain of youth.
I was just going to say the fountain of youth, folks.
Yep.
And those of you who are watching that want to age gracefully and look like Laura at age 62 or me at 56, you need to get educated on this. I always say education is strength.
Yep. You're
Strength,
right.
right?
You're
Yep.
right. No, absolutely. But I think the beautiful thing about it is when we raise that peptide in your body, y'all were born, we're all born with it. It's been around from before time, right? But it was just discovered 53 years ago. It's like Dorothy, you've had it all the time, right? But when we raise that peptide, we're now able to instruct the body to wake up, mobilize, and stimulate again those regenerative cells that you started out with, that you were conceived with, right? The cells that get to the root of problems and are constantly in restoration and repair mode for your body. But as many of us know, as time goes on, we lose the ability for those cells to get to the root of the problem because of the aging process, because of outside influences. Do you know by the time you're 30, 35, you've used up half of what you were born with?
Wow.
And by the time you get to 60, Rich, you're on your way, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
You've used up 80 to 90%. Now, Rich has been using the technology, so that doesn't jive for him because every 6 weeks when you use that patch that Rich held up, and mine are on the back of my neck, okay? But every 6 weeks, your heart, your cardiovascular system starts functioning 8 weeks younger. 8 weeks younger. Who does not want that?
That's incredible.
But you know, Rich, I got to tell people this because you now know my age. I've been patching almost 4 years. I do get my blood work done regularly, right? For obvious reasons, making sure everything's in check all the time. I'm amazing. My body's amazing, right? My blood work, my biomarkers and panels read that the inside of my body is functioning that between a 27 and 30-year-old. Now, I don't know about y'all. Sign me up. Like, that's all I need.
Wow.
Right?
Incredible. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's incredible. And a really neat thing about it is, this technology, and I know this sounds crazy, but it's not 5, 10,000. We've had people that go out of the country, spend over $100,000, and it doesn't work. This is regenerating, waking up your own body's
Yep.
master cells. And I just like to read a disclaimer just so that I stay within our compliance here today. These products are lifestyle general wellness products that are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Success stories are anecdotal, based on personal experiences, viewpoints, opinions, and do not promise anything. Your body can heal itself if given the right tools. So we're talking about tools for proactive health, youth renewal, reverse aging. That is scientifically proven that there's a reverse aging factor. So as we age, our telomeres on our chromosomes shorten, and they can look and see that they start to lengthen after you've been patching. So pretty amazing. I'd like to just wrap up, Laura, and thank you for being an encouragement to many women that are going to tune in, and men, because men, we battle it too,
Yeah.
with our prostate, and this is proactive healthcare. And by the way, I forgot to mention those that go out of the country and this technology with someone else's master cells doesn't work is because of inflammation in the body. So we like to start everyone off on a patch that reduces the ability, or reduces inflammation in the body, which is the killer of those master cells, to wake them up and then to reactivate them. And this technology actually goes back about 20 years. And I interviewed the gentleman that introduced this technology, the Kansas City Chiefs, going into their Super Bowl here. So elite athletes, Olympic athletes, Stanford swim team. This is technology that's even being used right now in our government leadership. So the best of the best, wealthy billionaires can also use this technology. So if you need to know more information about it, reach out to the person who introduced you to this technology. I've got a call later today with a gal that has had a root canal, facial pain for 7 years, extreme pain, a level of a 9 to a 10. I can't imagine. That's looking for something, and she's desperate. So we have seen all
Rich,
sorts of miracles. Yes, ma'am.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but before you go, I just want to say a couple things, and I'm going to say them really quick. Those of you who I know this touches either you personally, somebody you know, a friend or family, I also want you to know that something that you can do now is start some of these things, right? But two other things that I did that I think are really imperative for you to know is, and these are the things that you could do now. You need to be on a really good probiotic, like a really good one. Stop going to CVS, Walgreens, Costco. Like, find out, get a really good probiotic. And then a lot of people who are in and dealing with this whole breast cancer thing, CBD was a huge part of my healing. CBD without THC, like they're separated. So there's no need for those who just don't like the idea of that, right? You need a high grade tincture of CBD because as we age, your cannabinoids that you're born with, and that's what CBD gives you, decline, right? So every night before I went to bed, 2 dropperfuls of CBD went below my tongue. So there's a big correlation. You can Google this too, in the healing of breast cancer and CBD. So there's little things that you can do now to provide your body with things to keep it functioning at its highest. So think about that. Be proactive. Don't put yourself in a position to react. And you can start today. Detox, start eating better, drink more water, get your electrolytes. Your life will turn, I promise.
Yes. Yeah. Good points. Yeah. What some great closing thoughts. And I got sidetracked, but when I talked about tens and hundreds of $1,000s, this technology is a cup of coffee a day, folks. As a financial advisor, we can find how you can afford it. You need to invest in your health. And I think we've been brainwashed. If it's not covered by insurance, we just should not invest in our health. And it's nonsense. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love that you said that way.
yeah,
You know what I say? Sell a couch.
exactly. I love it. Yeah, it's true. So we're gonna wrap up, and those of you that have not gone on YouTube, go on YouTube, 911 Health Wealth. See my interview with Dr. Kneller, well-known cardiologist in Arizona that's using this technology throughout the United States. I know, Laura, you're impacting the world. We're impacting the world as well. Jeff and I have been working with people in other countries with this technology. It's in 82 countries, over 100 global patents, over 100 independent clinical studies. And thanks for investing some time, Laura,
Welcome.
today. And I'm going to sign off of Facebook, and we'll open up questions for those that are on Zoom Live. One moment.